Chosen one, what if I told you that you are the message? That you weren't born to carry scripture, you were born to embody it? You've always felt it, haven't you? That pull, that knowing deep within. While others search for answers in books, sermons, and doctrines, you've come to realize that the truth isn't something you learned, it's something you've always known. You weren't meant to fit into the system, to follow the path that was laid out by someone else. You've always stood apart, sensing that your wisdom doesn't come from the outside. It's encoded in you. That's why they've tried to silence you, to make you doubt yourself. Because your very existence reveals hidden truths that challenge the structures around you. But today, you'll remember what they tried to make you forget. If this message already speaks to your soul, subscribe, like this video, and comment 77 below. You are more than a seeker. You are the living message the world is waiting for. Stay with me until the end, because we're going to unlock your true power. Living scriptures in human form. You weren't just born into this world. You were written into it. From the moment you took your first breath, your life began unfolding as a divine narrative, a sacred text in motion. Every experience, every challenge, every victory became another line, another chapter in this living scripture that is uniquely yours. And as you walk through life, you carry this sacred text within you. It's not written on paper, it's etched into your being. Others may search for wisdom in ancient scrolls, scriptures, or sermons, but you were never meant to simply follow what was written. You were meant to be the living example, the walking scroll that carries the truth. You might have felt different, out of place, even misunderstood, but that's because you weren't meant to fit the pattern. You were meant to create a new one. The weight of this role may have felt heavy at times. Perhaps you've wondered why your path has been more difficult, why your trials have seemed more intense. It can feel isolating to carry something so profound when those around you can't quite see it. You've been tested by rejection, by loss, by moments of doubt that left you questioning if you were enough. But these struggles weren't random. They weren't just misfortunes. They were refining you, shaping you into the vessel that could hold such divine wisdom. While others sought answers in teachings and traditions, you had to find them within. Your journey wasn't about memorizing doctrine, it was about embodying it. And that's what set you apart. You weren't just a student of truth, you were a carrier of it. And every step of your journey has been about uncovering that truth, both for yourself and for the world. Isaiah 49 verse 16 tells us, "See, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. Your walls are ever before me." Think about that for a moment. You have been engraved, etched into the divine plan, held close by the Creator. Your story isn't just a passing narrative, it's a part of something eternal. This is why you've always felt a deeper pull, a knowing that couldn't be explained by logic alone. Your life is a living text that others can read without you ever speaking a word. The choices you've made, the times you've stood up for what was right, the moments you chose love over fear, all of it has been written into the fabric of your being. You are not just someone walking through life, you are a reflection of the divine script. And that's why they can't look away. They might not understand it, but they can feel it. You carry the message without even trying, because you are the message. As you continue on this journey, you'll begin to notice the shifts. The way people respond to you will change. The way you see yourself will change. It's as if the words of your life are being rewritten in real time, revealing layers of depth you never realized were there. Others will start to see you differently, not because you've told them to, but because your presence speaks louder than anything you could say. You may find that opportunities arise seemingly out of nowhere, that connections deepen without effort. These are signs that your living scripture is being recognized, that the truth you carry is starting to resonate with those who are ready to hear it. You've stepped into a season of alignment where every choice, every action is part of a greater pattern. It's no longer about striving. It's about being. It's about letting your life be the testimony. Behind the scenes, there is a divine orchestration at work. Your experiences, both the painful and the joyous, are being woven together into a masterpiece. The struggles you've faced weren't tests meant to break you, they were preparations meant to elevate you. You've been positioned not by chance, but by intention. The challenges that once seemed overwhelming now appear as stepping stones. They've refined you, clarified your purpose, and strengthened your resolve. This is no accident. The Creator has been guiding you, ensuring that the message you carry is not just powerful, but unshakable. The truth you embody isn't just for you. It's for everyone who comes into contact with you. And as you continue forward, you'll see how your life is aligning with a greater calling, how every moment is part of a divine plan that only becomes clearer with time. But recognizing this is only the beginning. Now you must fully step into it. It's one thing to know you carry the message. It's another thing to live it. This requires you to release the fears that have held you back, to trust that the wisdom within you is enough. True alignment doesn't come from seeing the path laid out before you. It comes from walking forward in faith, even when you can't see the whole picture. This is the moment where you decide to stop questioning whether you're ready, whether you're worthy, whether you're capable. You are. The very fact that you carry this sacred truth means you've already been chosen, already been prepared. Now is the time to embrace that, to own it, to let your life fully reflect the divine message that has been written within you. From here, the path becomes one of empowerment. You are not just a seeker, you are a leader. You are not just a learner, you are a teacher. And you don't teach through words alone. You teach through who you are, how you live, how you treat others. Every step you take now is an act of faith, an act of trust in the process. As you move forward, you'll find that the fear begins to fade, replaced by a quiet confidence. You'll see that the doubts that once held you back no longer have power over you. And as you walk in alignment with your calling, you'll inspire others to do the same. You'll become the guidepost for those who are still searching, still questioning. You'll show them that the answers they seek are not out there, but within. Your journey is the proof they need that transformation is possible, that the truth they've been looking for is not something they learn, it's something they remember. If this resonates with you, comment "remember" below. Let this be your affirmation, your declaration that you are not just a follower of truth, you are its embodiment. You are the living scripture, the walking scroll, the divine message in motion. Every choice you make, every step you take, reflects the sacred wisdom you carry. And as you continue on this path, you'll see how your story is not just yours. It's a testament, a guide, a revelation that helps others find their way. So keep walking, keep trusting, keep remembering. You are more than you once believed. You are the message, and now it's time to live it fully. Your knowledge is remembered, not taught. It's frustrating, isn't it? You've been told your whole life that knowledge is something you earn, something you have to chase, something outside of yourself. You've heard it from teachers, mentors, even loved ones. Study harder, follow the rules, find the right expert. But no matter how many books you read, no matter how many seminars you attend, there's always been a deeper knowing within you. A quiet, unshakable certainty that doesn't come from the outside. You've felt it when you've entered a room and just known something wasn't right. You felt it when others spoke words that sounded good on the surface but rang hollow in your soul. It's that feeling that you already know, that you don't need someone else to teach you the truth, because you carry it. It's a birthright, not a reward. And while others may not understand it, you've always known that your wisdom isn't learned. It's remembered. And yet, remembering isn't always easy. The world tells you to forget. It tells you to ignore that inner voice, to dismiss that intuition as irrational or unscientific. It tells you that if you can't cite a source or prove a point with data, it's not valid. That constant pressure can leave you feeling isolated, even doubting yourself. You've probably experienced moments of questioning, why do I feel this way? Why do I know things I was never taught? Those moments of doubt can be heavy. You might even have tried to bury that knowing, to quiet the voice within so you could fit in, so you wouldn't have to explain something you don't fully understand. But every time you tried to turn it off, it came back louder. Because this knowing isn't something you can silence. It's not something you can walk away from. It's woven into the fabric of who you are. It's not arrogance. It's alignment. You've heard the story of the prophet Samuel, haven't you? In 1 Samuel 3, he was just a boy when he heard the voice of God calling his name. He didn't understand it at first. He thought it was the priest Eli speaking, and it took several attempts before he realized the truth. The voice wasn't coming from outside of him, it was calling him from within. That's what you've been experiencing. The world tells you to seek the voice of truth in lectures, in traditions, in external authorities. But the truth has always been calling you from within. Like Samuel, you didn't learn it from a book. You didn't need someone to teach it to you. You simply needed to recognize that it was already there. And once you see that, everything shifts. You stop looking outward for validation and start trusting the knowledge that's been with you all along. As you start to trust that inner knowing, you begin to notice changes. You walk into a room and can feel the energy before anyone speaks. You sense the tension in someone's words even when their tone sounds friendly. You see patterns that others miss, connections that can't be explained through logic alone. These aren't coincidences. They're signs that your inner wisdom is coming to the surface. It's like clearing away the clouds and seeing the sun that was always there. The more you trust that knowing, the clearer it becomes. And the clearer it becomes, the more it shapes your decisions, your relationships, and your sense of purpose. This isn't about following a step-by-step guide. It's about allowing what you already know to guide you. You may not realize it yet, but there are unseen forces aligning in your favor. Each time you trust your inner wisdom, you align more deeply with the divine plan for your life. The synchronicities, the unexpected opportunities, the moments of clarity that seem to come out of nowhere, they're not random. They're the universe affirming your path. The more you honor that inner knowing, the more you'll see doors open that you didn't even know existed. This isn't a test of endurance. It's not about proving your worth through struggle. It's about remembering who you are and embracing the knowledge you were born with. The moment you do, you'll find that the world around you starts to shift. You're no longer chasing answers. You're walking in the truth you've always known. But this shift requires something from you. It's not enough to recognize the truth. You have to embrace it fully. And that can be terrifying. There's comfort in following the crowd, in doing what you're told, in relying on external validation. But true alignment requires letting go of that need. It requires trusting yourself when it feels like no one else will. It means stepping into the unknown and allowing the wisdom within you to lead the way. This is the moment where you decide whether to keep looking for answers outside of yourself or to honor the truth you've always carried. It's a sacred moment, a turning point, and it's yours to claim. Now is the time to step into that knowledge. You don't have to explain it to anyone. You don't have to justify it. You just have to live it. Let your actions be guided by that inner knowing. Let your choices reflect the truth you carry. The more you do, the stronger you'll feel. The doubts that once held you back will fade away. The need for approval will no longer matter. Because you'll see that you were never alone. You were never lost. You were simply remembering who you were always meant to be. And as you step into that truth, you'll find that everything else falls into place. This is your moment. This is your time to fully claim the knowledge you've carried all along. If this resonates with you, comment "Remember" below. Let this be your affirmation, your declaration that you are not just a seeker of knowledge, you are its keeper. Trust what's within you. Honor it, live it, and watch as your life aligns in ways you never thought possible. You are more than you realize. You've always been. Now it's time to step into that knowing and let it guide you. You speak in frequencies, not just words. It's something you've always felt, even if you didn't have the words for it. You walk into a room, and before you say a single word, people notice you. Some are drawn closer, intrigued by something they can't quite name. Others may take a step back, unsure of why they suddenly feel exposed or unsettled. And you've wondered, what is it about me that causes such a reaction? It's not your appearance, and it's not what you say. It's the energy you carry. It's the frequency you emit. Your presence sends ripples through the room, touching people in ways that words never could. You don't just enter a space, you change it. You shift the atmosphere without trying. And it's not something you can turn off, even if you wanted to. That's why you've always stood out, why you've never blended in. You've been carrying this energetic message all along, and now it's time to understand what that means. It can be both a gift and a challenge. There have been times when you've wondered if you're too much, if your energy is overwhelming, if it's why some people pull away. Maybe you've tried to dial it back, to make yourself smaller, more palatable. But even in those moments, you couldn't stop it. Your frequency isn't something you learned. It's something you were born with. And while it can feel isolating at times, it's also a reminder that you were never meant to be like everyone else. Your energy speaks before your words ever reach their ears. You don't have to explain it or defend it. It just is. And when you start to embrace that, the doubt and the self-consciousness begin to fade. You start to see that this isn't something you need to fix. It's something you need to honor. Think about the way sound waves move through water. The vibration travels, creating patterns that are invisible to the eye unless the surface is disturbed. That's what your presence does. You don't just speak in words, you speak in frequencies. And these frequencies ripple out from you, touching others in ways they can't see but can feel. This is why some people find themselves drawn to you without knowing why. It's why certain individuals suddenly open up to you, sharing their thoughts, their fears, their hopes, even if they barely know you. They're not responding to your words. They're responding to the vibration you carry. As the Gospel of John 10 verse 27 says, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." It's not just about the literal voice. It's about the recognition of something deeper, something true. You carry that same depth. People recognize it, even if they can't articulate what they're hearing. And as you've begun to lean into this truth, you've started noticing the changes. You've seen how others react differently to you when you walk into a room. You've felt the subtle shifts in conversation, the way people seem more attentive, more open, or, in some cases, more defensive. These are signs. They're signs that your frequency is awakening something within them. It's not always comfortable, change rarely is, but it's undeniable. The way people remember you long after you've left, the way they think of your presence as much as your words, shows that you're speaking on a level that goes beyond language. You're connecting with something deeper, and this isn't something you need to force. It's already happening. You just have to trust it. When you realize that your frequency is your voice, you start to see the bigger picture. You're not just speaking to people's minds. You're speaking to their spirits. The things you say might linger in their thoughts, but the energy you carry lingers in their souls. And that energy, that frequency, is what makes you unforgettable. You're not trying to convince anyone of anything. You're not trying to change their minds. You're simply being who you are, and that alone is transformative. The divine orchestration behind this is no accident. It's why you've been placed where you are, why you cross paths with certain people, why some relationships seem almost predestined. Your frequency is part of a larger plan, a plan that uses your presence to awaken, to heal, to guide. But this is where it becomes a choice. You can continue to question it, to wonder if it's real, to try to blend in. Or you can step fully into it. You can acknowledge that your presence alone is enough to change the world around you. This is the moment of self-realization. It's the moment when you stop hiding and start embracing. Yes, it can be intimidating to realize the impact you have, but it's also freeing. When you let go of the fear, when you trust that your frequency is exactly what it needs to be, you find a peace you've never known before. You see that you don't have to try so hard. You don't have to force anything. You just have to show up, fully and authentically, and let the vibrations do their work. Now that you understand this, you can move forward with confidence. You can walk into any space knowing that you bring more than words. You bring energy, alignment, truth. This is your gift. It's not something you have to learn or perfect. It's something you have to embrace. Let it guide your interactions, let it shape your decisions. And watch as the world around you begins to reflect back the power of your presence. You've always had this ability. The difference now is that you see it. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. You are more than a voice. You are a frequency, a vibration, a living, breathing resonance of truth. If this resonates with you, comment frequency below. Let this be your declaration, your reminder that you don't need to explain or justify who you are. Your energy speaks for itself. And as you continue to walk in this truth, you'll see how every step you take sends ripples of change through the world around you. You speak in frequencies, not just words. And that, more than anything, is your power. Your suffering was initiation, not punishment. It's almost impossible to forget those moments, the ones that shattered you, left you feeling completely untethered. The nights you couldn't sleep, replaying what went wrong, asking yourself over and over why this was happening. You wondered if you had done something to deserve the heartbreak, the betrayal, the loss. It felt like the world had turned its back on you, like the very ground beneath your feet had disappeared. But as time passed, you started to notice something. You hadn't fallen apart entirely. Instead, something else began to form deep within. At first, it was barely noticeable, a small flicker of strength, of resilience. And then, gradually, you began to see that what you had endured wasn't meant to destroy you. It was a breaking open, not a breaking down. Those struggles weren't random. They were shaping you into something stronger, something purer. They were preparing you for what was to come. And the weight of it all wasn't just emotional, it was spiritual. It felt as though you had been carrying the burden of not just your own pain, but the pain of generations, of something far greater than yourself. There were times you asked, "Why me? Why does it feel like I'm walking through fire when others seem untouched?" That heaviness, that seemingly endless cycle of suffering, wasn't without purpose. It was a purification process. It stripped away the parts of you that weren't real, the layers you had built to protect yourself, the masks you wore to fit in. Each betrayal removed another layer of illusion. Each heartbreak forced you to confront a deeper truth about yourself. This wasn't punishment, it was preparation. It was initiation into a higher calling. And as you began to understand that, the weight started to lift. The suffering wasn't just suffering. It was refining you, making you into someone who could hold a spiritual power that others couldn't comprehend. In Isaiah 48 verse 10, we find the words, "I have tested you in the furnace of affliction." These aren't just poetic phrases, they're a description of what you've lived through. Like precious metals refined in fire, you were placed in the heat not to be destroyed, but to have the impurities burned away. The fire was painful, it was unbearable at times. But it also revealed what was true. It showed you who you really are, what you're really made of. You weren't being punished. You were being tested, prepared, and made ready for a calling that required strength beyond the ordinary. This biblical principle isn't just something you read about, it's something you've experienced firsthand. And now, as you look back, you can see the transformation. You're not the same person you were before the fire. You're clearer, more focused, more in tune with your purpose. The trials weren't a sign of weakness. They were proof of the power you were meant to hold. And as you move forward, you begin to notice the signs of that transformation. Where once you felt weak, you now feel a quiet strength. Where once there was confusion, there's now clarity. It's not that life suddenly became easy, far from it. But you find that you can handle things you never thought possible. You see challenges differently. They no longer seem like personal attacks or unfair punishments. Instead, they feel like opportunities for growth, like reminders of how far you've come. The very things that once broke you are now the foundation you stand on. And people around you see it, even if they don't say it out loud. They sense the change. They can feel that you've been through something they can't quite understand, and they respect it, even if they can't name it. The signs of transformation aren't just external, they're internal. They're in the way you carry yourself, the way you think, the way you approach life. They're the proof that the suffering was never meaningless. It was always leading you somewhere greater. You start to realize that you were never walking this path alone. Through every trial, every heartbreak, every dark night of the soul, there was a divine presence guiding you, even if you couldn't see it at the time. Those moments of deep despair weren't the end. They were the beginning of something new. You begin to notice how things fall into place in ways you can't explain. Synchronicities appear. People show up in your life at exactly the right time. Opportunities you never imagined present themselves. It's as if a higher force is aligning your steps, making sure you're where you need to be. You start to see that those painful experiences weren't a cruel test. They were a sacred setup, a way to elevate you to a place where you can hold the power you were always meant to carry. This isn't a fairy tale or wishful thinking. It's the reality of what happens when you've been through the fire and come out refined. It's the proof that your life is guided by something greater than yourself. Now that you see it, now that you understand it, the question is, what will you do next? Will you continue to hide your light, or will you step boldly into your calling? This is the time to rise. The time to let go of the fear and fully embrace who you've become. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to show up as you are, with everything you've learned and everything you've become. This is the time to deepen your spiritual practice, to trust the process, to step into the unknown with faith. You've already done the hard part. You've already walked through the fire. Now it's about letting that fire fuel you, letting it light the way forward. This is your moment to own your story, to let it inspire others, to become the guidepost for those still finding their way. If this resonates with you, comment "initiated" below. This is your declaration, your affirmation that you've come through the fire stronger than ever. That your suffering wasn't the end, it was the beginning. And now you're ready to step into the life you were always meant to lead. Let this be the moment you fully embrace the power you've earned, the clarity you've gained, and the purpose you've discovered. You are no longer defined by your pain. You are defined by your strength, your wisdom, and your truth. You've been initiated. Now it's time to walk in that truth. You are the truth others are searching for. There's a reason why people seem to notice you, even when you're not trying to draw attention to yourself. It's not about how you look or what you say. It's about the energy you carry, the truth you embody. In a world full of noise, full of people clamoring for recognition and validation, your quiet confidence speaks volumes. You don't need to advertise your worth. Your presence alone is enough. People can sense it even if they don't understand it. They feel it when you walk into the room. They feel it when you speak, when you listen, when you simply stand still. They may not be able to put it into words, but they know there's something about you that's different. That difference is the truth you carry. It's not something you learned. It's not something you were given. It's something you've always been. You are the answer to the question they didn't know how to ask. And that's why they can't look away. But being the truth isn't always easy. In fact, it can be deeply challenging. You've probably felt the weight of it, the discomfort of standing out when all you wanted was to fit in. You've likely faced resistance from those who didn't understand you, who tried to silence you or make you doubt yourself. It can feel isolating, even painful, to carry something so profound while others dismiss or misinterpret it. Maybe you've tried to shrink yourself, to blend in, to follow the crowd just so you wouldn't have to deal with the pushback. But no matter how much you tried, you couldn't hide the truth that lives in you. It's not something you can turn off. And though that's been a source of struggle, it's also the very thing that sets you apart. The truth you carry challenges people. It makes them confront the parts of themselves they'd rather ignore. And that can be uncomfortable for them and for you. In the Gospel of John, Jesus says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." John 14 verse 6. He didn't say he was learning the truth, or teaching it, or proving it. He said he was it. In a similar way, your very existence embodies a truth that others are drawn to, whether they realize it or not. You don't have to preach or persuade. Your presence alone serves as a reminder of what's real. It's not about perfection. It's about authenticity. The truth in you isn't polished or rehearsed. It's raw, unfiltered, and undeniable. That's why some people react so strongly to you. It's why they're drawn to you, and sometimes why they push you away. You're not just reflecting the truth, they see it in you. And that makes them question their own narratives, their own illusions. It's not something you do intentionally. It just happens. Because you are the truth others are searching for. As you begin to embrace this, you'll notice subtle yet powerful shifts in your life. People will start coming to you for advice, even if you don't have all the answers. They'll open up to you, share their struggles, their fears, their hopes. They may not understand why they feel safe with you, but they'll know they can trust you. It's not about what you say, it's about who you are. You'll see relationships change. Some people will draw closer, while others may pull away. These shifts aren't random. They're a reflection of the energy you carry, the truth you embody. You'll begin to recognize the patterns, the synchronicities, the way things seem to align when you stay true to yourself. You weren't born to follow doctrine, you are doctrine in motion. You are the living proof that the divine doesn't reside in books or buildings, it resides in people. And now that you know this, there's no going back. You've activated something within yourself that cannot be undone. So walk boldly in that truth, live it, embody it, and let your very existence be the message that changes the world. If this resonates with you, Comment "I am chosen" to let this message anchor in your soul. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. You are the encoded frequency the world has been waiting for. Your presence is the message. And now it's time to live it.